very good manager has brought them back to life, and very, very difficult team to play against. The amount of shots they blocked, the effort they put in to defend inside their own box, and then of course a threat on the counter-attack with every ball they have. They play long throw-ins. Oh, it's so difficult to play against them. But our boys showed immense character today. I think we've created more than we did in the away game. We were much more in the final third than we were in the away game. And in the end, we scored a good goal and kept a clean sheet.
Once you scored that goal, you kind of had that momentum with you that maybe you didn't have in the first half, because you could feel the frustration, a bit of edginess in and around the stadium.
Yeah, that I don't know, but I liked much more what I saw than the away game. So I think Lucio was 15, 20 times in a 1v1 situation with their fullback, where in the away game, we only played the ball from Virgil to Ibu, from Virgil to Ibu. So I could feel that we were getting closer and closer and closer. But it's for a reason that they hardly ever concede a goal, hardly ever concede a chance, because they bring so many bodies back around their 18-yard box. And they've got players who are really well in blocking the shots, and it's of no use of bringing a high cross in, because their centre-backs are so good in defending that. So, for us, in the end, we knew that if we wanted to win this game, we had to keep a clean sheet, and scoring more than one goal would have been very hard, and that's why I'm so happy with that the one goal led to a win.
A lot of incident, though, in that match, wasn't there? Especially, throughout the game, but in the first half, early in the first half, James Tarkowski, Alexis McAllister. First of all, is Alexis okay?
Yeah, he is, because he kept on playing, so I assume he's okay. And he's used to something, because he's from South America. But I think everybody has said something about it, so why should I add something to it? It's so obvious that it's not necessary for me to comment. Everyone else did, and I would prefer to talk about Diogo's goal or Curtis Jones' performance or something else than about the red card incident.
I know that, but it could have been a serious injury.
Could have been, but wasn't, fortunately. And he was lucky with that,
With Diogo's goal, do you feel it's been a long time coming? It's been quite a while since he's been on the score sheet. He's waited a long time for that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I think they were already in the game. In the first half there was a moment where he was in a similar position, and again they blocked the shot. I think before the goal or after the goal he was again in the same position, and they blocked the shot. So it's not easy to score against them, but great goal. Nice to see that I just saw when I was inside my room that according to the rules it was a goal as well, so no one can complain about that.
There had been question marks over that as well.
There's always question marks if a goal, but the good thing is we've got rules, and the rules tells us that at least that's what they just showed on television, that it's a clear goal. Where I would be frustrated if I conceded, but then I'm frustrated about the rule and not about the execution of the rule, but because the execution of the rule was perfect from the referee. But the rule in itself is frustrating, because I think you always have to help, in my opinion, the offensive team. And if some team wants to play a high press, which Everton doesn't do, but keep a high line, and if then someone is in offside position, you would love to see it as being offside, but that's not the rules. The people that make the rules are not there for the love of the game, they are just there for making the rules.
But it's a goal that puts you within 13 points maximum now of this Premier League title that you are chasing down.
Yeah, we are chasing down the best possible season we can have, and Everton showed today again how difficult it is to win a football game in the Premier League. And we know that we're going to face 8 very tough challenges. But as long as the players give as much as they did today, and if we play home games, the fans give us as much as they did today.
Rare we've seen Arne slot with a reaction like that. That's the significance of that win. Forget the derby for a moment for Liverpool after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating couple of weeks. Liverpool were poised to have a phenomenal season. If they win the Premier League, it's still going to be fantastic, but with a little bit of a bitter taste, because it was building into something special, and I think it hit Liverpool fans hard, and the manager and the players, of course, to go out of competitions in quick succession. So that's the dust will settle. Everybody will realise that if it's the Premier League at the end of the season that they win, and only the Premier League, that'll be an incredible season. And as I said earlier, they would have snapped your hand off for that at the start of the season. So, but it doesn't stop the feeling of the last few days or the last few weeks, and to get that winning feeling back will be really important for everybody connected with the club.
Yeah, because they've had a while to stew, if you like, haven't they, on those two big defeats?
And you can take that either way at times. Sometimes when you have defeats, you want to get back to the games and start winning as quickly as possible. But I do feel that it was a good thing for Liverpool to have the break after, it was, people described it as a taxing couple of days, taxing couple of weeks, that they'd expended a lot of energy. They were using a lot of the similar players. I think they've used the second least amount of squad players this season to Nottingham Forest. So, he has demanded a lot off this team, and maybe that time away from each other before this run-in was exactly what the team needed. And, I didn't think it was about performance for Liverpool tonight. I thought it was about results. Start this run-in in the right manner. Get this first result. Get this first 3 points in the bag. And it'll make every result that comes after it easy. And that's what they managed.
Yeah. Resilience that they've shown tonight when asked the question.
Yes. I mean, Everton did have one or two chances. But that's how Liverpool play sometimes. They play risky game. They're trying to, when you're playing against teams that just come and sit back, and fair play to Everton, they counter-attacked well. But in the main, they were trying to stay into it in a bit of a shape. And Liverpool had to be quite patient, sometimes take risks. Obviously, they played Curtis Jones as a right back. That's a little bit of a risk, but they realised they were going to have a lot of the ball. So, that was a good performance. A clean sheet is very important, and obviously breaking any defence down when they sit back is not easy.
Well, of course, part of that clean sheet was the Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk, who is waiting to talk to us live now at Anfield. Good to see you, Virgil. Well done. Congratulations. Derby win. How significant does that feel?
Very. And, obviously it was important to get the win. It was always going to be a difficult game against them. And obviously it showed, I think, the first half we weren't at our best. Second half, I think we showed why we deserve the 3 points. Yeah,
and a bit of a character test for you all tonight, which you've come through.
I think, of course, it's a character test. You play the Merseyside derby, and these games are special for both sides. And obviously, we've seen the games over the years how difficult it can be, and you saw it today as well, especially in the first half, where I think when we lost the ball a couple of times, and we were quite open, and we had to shore that up in the second half, and I think we did. And obviously, like I said, we will deserve 3 points based on the second half, especially.
Virgil, it's Michael Owen. Well played tonight on the clean sheet and the victory. I'm just thinking, in terms of the season so far, if you'd said at the start of the season you're going to win the Premier League, I'm sure everybody would have been over the moon. However, it was building into something really special. How hard was it, after a couple of big defeats in cup competitions, to sort of get your mind tuned back into the Premier League and to finish the season well?
So you're suggesting that the season is not going to be special anymore?
It will be, absolutely. Well, it will be special. But I thought it could have been building into something very special.
I think we have to change that narrative a little bit. I think we're fighting for the biggest prize of the season. We work so hard for it. That 20 teams are working so hard to try and be on top of the Premier League. And we have 8 games to go. We know what's at stake, and we have to go for it. We have to fight. We have to enjoy the whole ride. And then let's see. I think, like I said, it's still looking very special in my eyes. I think what you said at the start of the season, I think no one expected us to even try and fight for all 4 fronts at the start of the season. Obviously, we at the stage now where we're still fighting for the biggest, and that's the reality. So it's still a possibility that this season will be very, very special.
Virgil, you had 9 games to go after this international break. Did you feel this was the most important game to get back into winning ways as quickly as possible?
Of course, like any game after disappointment, you want to obviously win. You want to show what we're all about, and obviously the final was very disappointing for many reasons. Then obviously everyone goes to their respective countries and play different football, different questions are asked from you, and you have to be ready when you come back. And I think we had a good couple of days training before this, and I think second half showed why we deserve today, I think, the 3 points in my opinion.
And you always have goals all round the team, but I know he's gone a few without one, but Diogo Jota is a scorer of big, significant goals for you, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, I think everyone has to try and contribute in goals, and obviously we all know that Jota can make a difference in that sense. Obviously he's a bit unlucky in some ways, but today obviously he's very important with that goal. I think he was very sharp in and around the box, and he was lively on the ball, and I think we already could have seen it in training, so maybe the international break helped him a little bit, and now for him it's just to crack on, keep going.
And that's finally what the team have to do. You need 13 points maximum to get your hands on that trophy. Just keep ticking them off, do you, like tonight?
Yeah, listen, like you said, we have 8, like I said, we have 8 more games. We have to recover now, and then we go to London on Saturday, and have to be ready for a difficult one at Fulham. I think we, over the last couple of years, we've never had an easy game there. So it won't be easy then again, but something we have to look forward to, and try to get one step closer to a special season.
Or very special, whichever way you want to describe it. Virgil, we love it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
All the best. Liverpool captain
Bye-bye.
Virgil van Dijk at Anfield. Special or very special? How are you describing it?
I stand by what I said. I mean, if you'd said at the start of the season that Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, it's a very, very top season. I mean, that's and as Virgil said, not many fans, not many people give them the chance, really, especially changing their manager and after so.
If you were watching the interview with Ibrahima Konate earlier on, you'll be glad you'll realise that you'll be glad that it wasn't Virgil van Dijk's Player of the Match award.
There's no way Konate was getting it today.
Diogo Jota did get the win, but it was quite a low-key interview. It's felt that way around Anfield for the whole of the evening. It wasn't hugely celebratory at the final whistle. Why do you think that was?
I think it was more relief on the back of Liverpool have had to wait so long since that Newcastle game, and it wasn't just losing the game, it was the manner of the defeat, really. So that would have stayed with the players for a long time. They went away international duty, they've had to wait, no game at the weekend. And no matter how many people in our position or around the country say the league's over, when you're inside the club or you're the team who are deemed to have, the title's over, it never feels like that. And it probably even feels like that for Liverpool supporters towards the end of the game, very anxious within the stadium, just wanting that, final whistle to be blown, because, yeah, you can talk about the 12 points in front. No Arsenal fan thinks they've got any chance of winning the league, but Liverpool fans still think they do, and Liverpool players will. And as he said before the game, it's not done until it's done.
Duncan, you said earlier Everton defended really well in their own box. How did Liverpool make the breakthrough through Jota?
But a magic, really, wasn't it? That's what the game needed. Good feet. Obviously, there's a wee bit of, the boy was offside, wasn't he? Stand offside, but then he gets good feet, lovely feet, nice flick, and goes through. And that's probably the first time that Everton really would come and stuck in their box, because they were very good throughout the whole game at making clearances, getting their challenges in.
There he is, Luis Diaz in the offside position. We'll clear that up in just a second, but what you can see is he doesn't make a move towards the ball, which is what the VAR is looking for when they judge that, as to whether or not he's illegally offside, rather than just standing in an offside position.
I mean, you can see Tarkowski, he knows he's there, he looks at him, he actually puts his arm out as well to look at him. It's brilliant from Jota. But you see, just look at Tarkowski now, he has one look, he has another look, he points his arm there. Now, he doesn't probably go to ground if Luis Diaz isn't there. He probably just clears the ball up the pitch. But the fact Luis Diaz doesn't make any movement towards the ball, when you look at the rules, there was no way this was ever going to be overturned, because when we'll look at the actual terminology now of the rules.
They may well look and think, well, he was aware that he was there and it affected what James Tarkowski did.
Yeah, but Barthwaite's in there and he's noticing that he's putting his hand up, he's not concentrating, so he's looking for the offside. So when action comes towards him, he's not concentrating enough, so he's shouting for the offside, isn't he?
So he's not obstructing his line of vision. He isn't challenging for the ball. He isn't even attempting to play the ball or even really move towards it, and isn't making an obvious action which impacts on the ability of James Tarkowski to play the ball, because Tarkowski did play the ball, but he was standing in an offside position. Yeah,
and listen, when you go through that, it's not going to be given. That tells you that it's not offside. But I mean, we'll just look at it again. You just see, it's really interesting. Tarkowski, he's well aware of that. He's there. He makes a play to knock it into Ghana, and listen, it's brilliant from Jota, and it's probably the only real big chance Liverpool had in the game, certainly up until that stage. But I mean, there was something similar, I think, a few years ago actually with Harry Kane and Liverpool at a similar end of the pitch. I think Tottenham got the goal that day. But it's interesting when I'm commentating on that. Now, I think that's a goal when you actually look at the, go through the rule book. But I actually think it's unfair at times when a cross comes in and you actually see a defender sort of lunging for it. And as Duncan mentioned before, maybe I've past experience of that. But sometimes when you think someone's gone for a ball at full stretch because the attacker's there and they don't make an attempt for the ball, the defender puts it in his own goal or drops it to the feet of someone else and they score. I think that's very unfair. That one, I think, is a little bit different because Tarkowski isn't in a completely strange position or anything. He's still trying to play that ball into Garner. So I think it's one of them. If it goes against you, you're frustrated. But I think in the main, most people want that as a goal.
Yeah, a little bit of
into something incredibly special. And I just wondered whether, after a couple of weekends or a couple of weeks of disappointment, how hard was it to refocus? But obviously he gave us the answer.
And believe me, when you stand next to Virgil van Dijk, you do not.
Well, that's why I asked him from this distance away. If I was stood by, I wouldn't have asked him.
Had we been Matchday Live on the road, I'm not so sure you would have been quite as right next to him. But anyway, I was talking to you about Jota there. I mean, I know he'd gone 10 games in all competitions without a goal. He's had his injury problems. But you call him a killer in front of goal. You actually think he's Liverpool's most natural finisher at times, don't you? 4 moments like we saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he danced through the defence there, didn't he? One off his left foot, one off his right foot, and then Jordan Pickford almost went early. He didn't need to find a corner, but this is lovely. Takes one touch in his right, then when his left, and then it opens it all out. But it's, as I say, his balance, his touch, going through there, Leon, it was pretty special.
Yeah, I think Everton are unfortunate just in the sense that, Tarkowski has to go for this ball. He thinks that Luis Diaz is there and the centre-halves are split, but that's the space that Diogo Jota takes advantage of. I mean, as you said, dances through there, lovely little bit of skill, the way he can dribble with both feet. And once it all opened up for him, I think we all just expected to see the ball into the back of the goal, didn't we? You say he's a natural finisher, and he just waited for Jordan Pickford to go down, basically, and went the other way.
Yeah, I mean, just picking up on Leon's point there, Diaz does quite well, actually, not to make any move to the ball, because if he does, then he's offside, isn't he? But you just wonder, I suppose, whether Tarkowski wouldn't dive in like that if he wasn't in an offside position. So could you say he is affecting the play?
Yeah, well, it's a grey area because Everton were defensively solid for the majority of this game. They didn't give too many major chances away that Jordan Pickford had to save, but in that one moment they left themselves stretched and exposed because they had to defend a ball that in hindsight didn't need defending because Diaz is offside. So it's a frustrating one. By the letter of the law, it is a goal because Tarkowski went for it and had the opportunity to clear it, but I just wonder if he'd have realised Diaz was offside, could he have just let that ball go through and suddenly they're not exposed? However, from that moment, Diogo Jota took complete advantage of it, finished it brilliantly, and I did think that Liverpool probably deserved...
Made the decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's the first thing he wants to talk about. I've noticed it myself. We've talked about it, me and Michael, that it's just a grey area in the game now. I've heard referees' explanation of the rule, and if a defender has an opportunity to touch and clear the ball, then the player's deemed not to be interfering with play. However, James Tarkowski has to go for the ball. He can't just wonder if he's offside, Diaz. He has to go for the ball, and in doing so, he's on the stretch. He's not able to make a proper clearance. He's in a position where, as I said, he's leaving the defenders exposed, and he's definitely interfered with James Tarkowski's decision to go and defend the ball. So it's
just let me clear this up for me. We understand that because Diaz hasn't made any deliberate attempt to go for the ball, then therefore he is not offside.
And that's the first point I made. Diaz does exceptionally well not to get tempted to. He knows he's offside. I think he knows he's offside. Otherwise, he would definitely go for it. But Gravenberch plays him the ball. There's nobody else anywhere near. So, I mean, in terms of the pass, Gravenberch is very deliberate in where he's going to pass it to. It's not like anyone can say, oh no, he was going there or there. It was going to Diaz. And Tarkowski's obviously had to intercept it. I mean, as a defender, that's just a natural instinct to dive and to nip in front of him.
And as he says, he has to lunge forward because he has to think that Diaz is onside and he has to beat him to the ball. He can't just wait and see. He has to step out front, which makes it, he can't clear it in a manner that he would just be able to hoof it up the pitch. He's had to nip in front, and in doing so, he's He's not been able to make the clearance that he would desire, but you're right, it's clever play from the Liverpool striker.
I really feel sorry for Tarkowski there, and Everton in many ways, because, you know, there is very little that they can do in that situation. You can't say to Tarkowski, "Oh no, don't get it." You know, that's just instinct to try to stop it going to. So they've done everything right. They've pushed up. They've got a high line. They've got somebody offside. The ball's gone to that guy, and they've managed to block it. So they've absolutely done nothing wrong at all. Yet the rules of the game suggest that it's correct to give the goal. So it's a harsh one, and one that they'll be licking the wounds over, I think.
Yeah, I mean, frustrating. I said, because Everton defended ever so well in the game. They didn't give an awful lot of way. They blocked cleans. I don't remember Jordan Pickford having to push many efforts around the post or really make saves. As a team, yes, it was backs to the wall, and it was defending for the majority, certainly of the second half. But they never give an awful lot of chances I thought Liverpool should have scored in. So, you know, to have left yourself exposed in a moment where you feel...
On, you know, Liverpool were the better team, there's no hiding the fact, but that's why they're top of the league, and we've not been in that position. But I think we showed great resilience, stuck at it, done a lot of really good things, made some chances, that one what you're talking about. And, you know, it's just a bit gut-wrenching when you feel as if the end result was come from some which we didn't think was deserved.
But right at the very end as well, you showed how much you wanted to get something out of this game by throwing everybody, albeit Mykolenko, but throwing everybody up for that corner right at the very end, that set piece.
Look, we're trying to get something out of the game. We were desperate to get something out of the game. We've been on a great run. The players have been doing brilliantly well. This is the first defeat in 10 games. So yeah, I thought no, Liverpool were better, but I thought we tried to close the gap in their levels to our levels tonight, and I thought for long periods we'd done a good job at it.
Just going back to those incidents and the two that you mentioned, and there were other incidents as well, it just kind of felt a little bit messy.
Yeah, so was the first game a little bit. It's good, you know, that maybe you know, Liverpool are sort of thinking about Everton a little bit more than maybe in the past, and hopefully in the future they'll have to think a lot more about us. But look, at the moment, they're the best team in the league, and you know, their performance tonight was good, but we really stuck at it, and maybe a little bit unfortunate not to get something out of it.
And the run that you were on before coming into this match, you want to, despite the defeat, keep that uplift, that vibe that you've brought since you've been back at Everton, and keep that going and finish the season as strongly as you can.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to the games, what we've got. We're in a difficult period of games, but in a way I think I want to see how the team can deal with it. I thought tonight we've done a lot of things not as well as we should have done, but we also done some good things and showed why for long periods this season we've not conceded too many goals. But we've now got other big tests coming as well, so we're looking forward to them.
Yeah, the big test just around the corner actually, that's Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, it comes quick, doesn't it?
Go well. Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
They have got some tough fixtures coming up, Everton. They're playing all the teams around the sort of Champions League places in the division. But he was saying in midweek, David Moyes, and bearing in mind this is the chat in the build-up to this game, that he thought that Everton and Liverpool were maybe as far apart as they had been in a long time. But over these two games now, after this match, he said they were much closer than maybe he thought they would be before he came into the club. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, because score-wise it is, isn't it? It's a draw, and they've only lost one today. If you're looking at football-wise, possession-wise and things like that, they're well away from it. But no, for score-wise, they got a good draw at Goodison, and then, you know, it's a narrow defeat tonight. So they're definitely a wee bit closer on the score, that's for sure. And
they got the draw, as you say, at Goodison. It was a 1-0 defeat this evening, but David Moyes felt they could have got more from this game here at Anfield. Do you think they did enough to get that?
No, I didn't. No. First half I did. One or two, you know, chances, counter-attacking chances. Beto obviously had two counter-attacking chances, one goal offside, one he hit the post. That was the big chance for them. Second half there wasn't a lot of chances for Everton. Although Liverpool never had a lot of chances either. They had shots on goal, a lot of entries into the box. I thought Everton defended fantastically well. Really did. The game plan was brilliant, and it just took a wee bit of magic, didn't it, to break them down.
As you said, difficult fixtures coming up for Everton. They've got Arsenal and then Forest still to come, and playing those Champions League teams, or those teams challenging for Champions League places over the coming weeks. What do you think they need to get between now and the end of the season? They're very comfortable in terms of their league position and have been for a while. And sometimes you can lose that edge from the performances.
It's down to the manager, isn't it, to keep that motivation going. I think he talks about relegation. The three teams that are going to get relegated are down there. Everton have been safe for a long time, and it's just keeping the players motivated and getting results to climb that table. It's congested in there. A few results can get you up to the mid-table. So that's what we're looking to do, to keep the momentum going into for next season, to keep the fans on board, everybody on board, and to get results. That's the name of the game, just to get results.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this new stadium, and obviously Everton fans will miss Goodison, one of the historic grounds in the Premier League. But the stadium's going to bring a lot to the city. It's going to bring a lot to the area, and Everton will be hoping it can bring a lot to them. Can they take momentum from this season into next if they finish strongly?
I think they can. They'll want to finish at Goodison. That'll be the big thing for them this season, to finish at Goodison, maybe go undefeated. They've gone a long while now since David Moyes has come in his first game. I think they lost at home to Aston Villa, I think. I mean, it looks fantastic. I drive past it most days.
Especially at night time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think you're right, Kelly. Listen, this stadium's for Everton. It's not just about the city, but I think even if you're a Liverpoolian within the city, you do look at it in awe. And as I said, I drive past it most days. It looks fantastic, and it'll be great for Everton, more importantly than anything, but also great for the city. It looks fantastic on the water there, and it will give them sort of great hope, because it feels like, to me, for the last 5 or 6 years, Everton's whole thing has been, I'll just get to the stadium. Make sure we're a Premier League club by the time we get to the stadium. Obviously, they have ownership issues and managerial issues, just stay in the Premier League, and they've done that. And I actually think it's brilliant that David Moyes is going to be the manager who takes them into the new stadium. And I said before the show that he's an Evertonian. He's not just Everton's manager, he feels like an Evertonian. And his interview was an Everton manager's interview who's lost at Anfield. You complain about the goal, you defend your guy who might have got the red card, and you made it tough for Liverpool, and he's right, they did. Over these 2 games in the last sort of couple of months, they've made it really, really tough for Liverpool, and Liverpool have got more of that to come over the next few years with David Moyes as manager of Everton.
Well, hopefully we've explained the offside situation and as to why that wouldn't have been given by the officials. It might not be something that David Moyes wants to accept at the moment, but I think we've done that. Well, what we haven't looked at again is the James Tarkowski challenge. David Moyes said, I don't want them kind of put in the balance there, and one weighs out the other one. But it was a challenge that, as he said, may have been more at home in previous derbies over previous decades.
Jamie would have got away with that one back in the day. But it's naughty, isn't it? He knows what he's doing. He's rolling over the top of the ball. He's gone right through it, and he knows what he's doing there, and he's caught the boy a cracker. A bad one, real bad one.
I mean, listen, we know it's a bad tackle. Us two sitting, we were no angels, especially in these games. And someone will say, how can you criticise them and show me a tackle on social media? I'm sure they will. But I saw this at the end, them coming together, and he's saying, I didn't mean it. We've all been there. But I go back to a challenge Tarkowski made as a Burnley player against an Everton player. And it was very similar. It was out on the touchline. He come right across, and I can't remember the Everton play. We were very strong on it that night, me and Gary, in the studio. Now, I know you can talk about maybe Everton got away with one, but he let Everton down in some ways, and that, because 9 times out of 10 you get sent off for that. And then you're playing...
Well, no, not James Tarkowski, who is the joint record holder in the Premier League for most yellow cards without getting a red card. He's got 63, him and Oriol Romeo. So maybe he's judging it perfectly. Maybe he's just kind of playing on the edge.
No, but I think those tackles now, it is daft doing it from your own team's point of view, because with VAR, you shouldn't get away with it. And Everton should have been down to 10 men. And, they were in with a fighting chance there right until the last kick of the game. But if you get a man sent off so early in the game, so he's almost...
On Saturday, right? Let's deal with a couple of incidents he was talking about there. James Tarkowski's tackle after 11 minutes. We've heard the Everton captain say he apologised to McAllister. I don't think there's anybody we've spoken to in football who thinks this isn't a red card.
No, even James Tarkowski admitted it wasn't the best tackle he's ever made. I think he had a reasonable explanation for it, though, that he thought he was going into a fully committed challenge from both people, but McAllister's just trying to block the ball. He's not actually going in for a tackle in the end, so it means that what James Tarkowski's doing looks really, really, really poor.
So the question is, Michael, those images you're watching now, if you were in VAR, how have they come to the conclusion that's still only a yellow card?
I have no idea. That is as clear a a red card as I've seen for a long time, I feel. I mean, he's out of control, both feet off the ground. There's incredible force in it. It's endangering the safety of a player. And of course, that quote that we've just seen just explains sort of what's happened and basically what the referees decided. But I find it very difficult. If that was just the referee not seeing the red card, I'd be a bit, come on, ref. You can see that's a red card. There's loads of force in it. It's disappointing that the referee's given them a yellow card in real time. It's even more disappointing then when the guys in VAR are sat there watching it multiple times and still can't see that that's a red card. It's a bad one in my opinion. That is a total and utter leg breaker. High, dangerous, with force.
They say they say when you slow things down, every tackle can look bad. Well, that looks terrible in any speed you want to play it.
You get away with that in our day.
I was just about to say, as David Moyes touched on, it was if I got myself in that trouble back in the day, I'd be getting told it was my fault. But that's just not the way the game is anymore. It's not in the game. So the players are to be protected from that kind of tackle, and that's a tackle that I'm actually really surprised that